and welcome to episode 7 of Inside the Race, the MyWhoosh Racing Podcast, with me, Hayley Simmons, and my co-hosts, Emma Martin and Matt Payne.
Thank you to everybody who has watched, liked, subscribed, followed, interacted, sent us a comment so far. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. The more, the better.
Yes, please keep sharing far and wide. Today we go inside the MyWhoosh Championships at stage 1. We are going to unpick all of the action in the men's and women's racing, including Category 2 women's race, where Hayley was racing today. How was it?
Yeah, it was good. It was a much better start than last year for me, where I lost quite a lot of time. Today, I only lost about 4 seconds in that final sprint. So yeah, it was a good start, bit of a confidence boost, and now kind of ball is rolling. So yeah, onwards. But enough about my ride today. Let's go inside the race.
So let's dive inside the race for what's happened today in the racing on stage 1 of the MyWhoosh Championships for 2026. I was quite nervous today. I don't know about the two of you coming into this, because it was like, we're doing the biggie. This for me is like the event of the year. I absolutely love this event. I was nervous. What about you, Emma?
Well, I was looking forward to seeing who was in that start pen, because some of those riders and racers got there really last minute in terms of doing their power passports, etc. So that was a really interesting one for me. But a lot of riders did indeed end up in that start pen. 618 riders took to the start today. 407 men in total, 211 women in those start pens across the 12 racing categories. And one of the highlights for me today has got to be that we saw 12 different races over 2 courses.
Yeah, really did see that. I mean, Hayley, I know you were racing in the women's race, so you wouldn't see much of that. Did you manage to catch any of the men's race at all?
Yeah, I caught quite a lot of the men's. I actually found it really interesting how the men's race unfolded differently to the women's. And I think it was due to the slightly longer course, different, maybe different sprints and things like that. But the racing was phenomenal. I was getting really excited watching the men's race and like shouting for Dylan Kennett to keep going in the men's category 6 race and things like that. So no, it was great.
It was really interesting. I loved that action, and I loved the way it unfolded. I loved the so many people on the Zoom room and on the cameras as well, it's an uplift from previously, which is great to see.
Yes.
And I think that really personalizes that experience more as well for us as commentators and everybody watching, that you get that personal view of people and what they're doing, and their pain cases often reflect personalities.
Yes, we saw the unicorn hat come out yet again at the start of men's racing, which was fabulous. But what we also see is how hard the effort is. It doesn't matter whether you're category 1, category 4 or category 6. When you are racing either off of that start or coming towards the finish, or whenever we go into those pain cave shots, the effort is absolutely eyeballs out.
It is. I think one of the things we should do is probably take a look at what has actually happened during the racing today, and let's give some name checks to the people who actually managed to finish on top, which is it's an incredible thing to do on stage 1. What a way to start your racing. Let's go first of all into the women's race. And I think if we do this in category 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, is that okay with everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay, let's go into the women's race. Let's dive in with category 6 first of all. Top 3 riders: Jessica Hurtado taking 3rd, Georgina Jones taking 2nd, Angie Arias taking top spot. Great result from Arias, but she'd been sprinting really strong.
she had, and it was a 14-up sprint at the finish in Category 6. It was one of the categories that broke up the quickest, actually, in the women's race. By the time they'd come off the first plateau, the race had absolutely smashed apart. But 14-up sprint for the finish with Gaviria Arias coming through was a really good finish for her. Georgina Jones and her had a right battle.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting to see. Let's miss them right up in their top 5 as well. When we talk about things like the sprint, we've seen Nina Pearce absolutely on fire. I thought that was really impressive sprinting from her, taking away 14 points. Georgina Jones, though, right up there with Hurtado. So no real surprises apart from Pearce, who seems maybe she's targeting this.
Yeah, one of the things that I thought was quite interesting today, and we see it here because Nina Pearce finished 7th in that final sprint to the line. We often saw right through the women's and in the men's, actually, quite a lot of the people targeting the sprint competition, not going for the sprint on the GC at the end of the stage or finishing in the bunch. So I thought that was quite an interesting anomaly, because if we normally see a sprinter's stage, perhaps on a Sunday race club, someone will go for the sprints, but they often go for the final finishing line as well.
And then in terms of the climbs competition, Angie Arias and Pearce in there as well, with Dominic Charlois, Bridget Bremner. But Arias again up on the top, tied on points this time with Pearce, but it did show us really who was there.
It did. The polka dots and the overall on Angie Arias's back as she goes into tomorrow. That's a nice feeling.
It must be good. Just contain the jealousy, Hayley, here.
Yeah, I know. But the first stage of a stage race is always, I feel like there are always battles for those jerseys, because being able to wear a jersey for the next day is a really great feeling. And, the profile of tomorrow, which we'll talk about later, but it is very different to today. So for some riders, they'll have looked at today and thought, this is my opportunity to grab a jersey. And I think that's why there were so many battles in the women's and the men's.
Well, grabbing the jersey in the women's category 5, Nikki Ziad up on the top spot with Katie Kansara-Jones and Isabel Alzate, your top 3 there. Brilliant racing by them.
That was such a last-minute run to the line as well. I was calling the finish, and I thought Kansara-Jones had it, but Ziad, her timing was just superb today, coming up and over the top last minute. And Isabel Alzate, who we regularly see right up there in Category 5, down in 3rd place.
Yeah, if we look at the sprint competition, it was Louisa Schultz up there, and Schultz not figuring in that overall, which was really interesting to see because she's been really, really strong. And then Kansara-Jones in the mix. The climbs competition, Natalia Becker showing that I think that the climbs are where she's at the moment.
Yeah, I think she is. And I also think there's a little similarity here, because it was also a 14-up sprint for the finish line.
And we're not going to ignore the teams throughout the course of the shows, but at the moment, the team competition is still basically really tight across every category. Emma?
In the women's, yes, the team competition is tight. There are 45 teams out there in that team competition in the women's racing. And I'm just taking a quick look down. 2 seconds in Category 2 is the largest margin between Team 1 and Team 2 in any of the women's racing fields. In fact, just taking a look, in Category 3, it's the smallest margin of 0.118 of a second. So you are right. It's a little bit different in the men's, but not hugely, but not quite as tight. It was a longer course.
Yeah, we don't want to keep everybody here all night whilst we run through everything at the moment. Don't forget, you can get all of the results on MyWhooshinfo.com. Let's move to Category 4. Let's start off with that overall. Germain Prado has to take the Best Newest Mum Sprint Rider Finisher Award ever.com because I have no idea how she's done that, but she's in 3rd. It's class, we know. Then Carolina Alzette, and then Camilla Paplona onto the top spot. A great top 3.
Yes, it was. And this was a bigger sprint, 21 riders coming into the finish line here together. And everybody who we thought would be in the mix pretty much was. I mean, Le Trigler was in 4th. Albin was in fifth. She took the win, let's remember, in category 5 last year. So that progression up to category 4 and then being right at the front of the pack in the sprint, really brilliant to see.
And we saw Shiki Fu come in and battle with Angelina Roa in the sprint competition. And Roa got her timing wrong. I'm sure, I don't know whether Hayley's seen this, but it seemed very difficult to go into the finish at the right time and not go too early. Roa tried to chase down a move, went too hard in my opinion, too early. And then her legs fell off before she came into the finish after sprinting so strongly all the way through.
Yeah, I do need to watch back the women's race overall, but I know from the category 2 race, for example, that actually timing that final sprint was hard because there was a slight gradient to it as well, and obviously the wind to take into account. So I was a little bit caught off guard by how early the category 2 race sprint opened up, actually, and I'd imagine that there was some timing calculations in some of the lower categories as well.
Yes, it was really interesting. And there were some riders going for a long run, 600, 700, 800 meters out. And quite regularly in the women's race, they did not make it.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of the climbs, Angelina Roa again up there with German Prado and Carolina Alsite up on the top. So almost a bit of a reflection of the overall in our riders up there on our sprints competition. It's kind of like got a bit of a mix of everybody in there. Martinuski looking strong and Al Ray in there. But I think category 4, almost regular favourites in the mix. When we go to category 3, I think there's not going to be anybody who's at all surprised to see our overall in category 3. Angie Londano in 3rd, winner from 2023, Jojo Bauer in 2nd, and Jem Rial top spot. But this was interesting with Lytton communicating with the team on the run into the finish, and we literally saw that on camera. Jem Rial finishing it off. I mean, that's a great result.
Yes, the Riot on the Storm squad absolutely played a blinder on the run into the finish here. It was absolutely on the team call that came into the line. There was a wait. Riders had gone. A General came through. She put that timing to that sprint. It was almost toward us. You saw Lytton on the headphones making a call to the team. And then all of a sudden you saw General just come through the pack and out the other side. It was absolutely brilliant. Jojo Bauer in 2nd, Londano, then Tuma, and then Lytton herself in 5th place. She'd been so aggressive during that race as well. She was really like, stage 1 is here, I'm here, everybody join me in the pain cave. It really was. She was all over that race.
She was, and she was 4th in the sprints competition behind Monica Pluter in 3rd, Sarah Carolus in 2nd. Helen McKay, though, great to see McKay back on sprint form. She absolutely 13 points to 9 points being the nearest points on there. In terms of the climbs, you talk about Lytton being all over it. She was all over the climbs, tied on points with Jojo Bauer. Camilla Salgado very, very close. This is going to be a battle, I think, that's going to run and run and run, because we know how competitive all these riders are. And we know how good they are at getting to a sprint over the other side of the mountains, which is going to be critical.
Yeah, that was actually one of the categories that I was really excited to watch myself with the women's, because Helen McKay's been on great sprint form and Brittany Lytton is such an aggressive rider. And it's great to see her back for this MyWhoosh Championships, having taken a bit of a break from Sunday Race Club earlier in the year.
Let's move across to category 2. We obviously have an insider spy in the midst of the peloton.
Yeah, here. I know what happened here.
Although spies are meant to be secretive, and I don't think anybody can ever say that Hayley's secretive about letting people know what she's doing. Hayley, I'm going to lean heavily on you here to a degree, because Emma and I have watched this, and everybody who's watched the coverage has seen that. We saw the sprint unfold into the finish here. We saw this coming up. Gonzalez Ruiz, somebody you know really well.
Yeah.
Dorothy came in after having taken, and I'm going to go to the sprints first, every single sprint.
Yeah.
On the way in.
Dorothy's sprint is incredible, and her timing is normally absolutely spot on as well. So yeah, and obviously she won stage 1 last year as well in the MyWhoosh Championship. She opened with some stage wins. She was wearing that yellow jersey for a few days. So she's on great sprint form at the moment, but it was always going to be quite a close battle, especially after Emily Sopper's really good performance in Sunday Race Club, sprinting really hard at the top of the climbs last weekend. And I think the timing for today's finish was quite difficult, but also the acceleration was hard. I felt that acceleration from 900 meters out for that final sprint, and I think a few riders were maybe a bit caught off guard.
And that's what we can't see, is it lifts and lifts and lifts. It's people are anticipating, and it just builds up. You think you might be sprinting from 20k an hour, but actually you're doing 40 odd k an hour before you even think about it in the running, and then you're having to sprint off from there. Dorothy Gonzalez-Rue's sprint is, I agree. I mean, I want to use the word beautiful here, because it's like watching one of the past masters. You watch Cipollini sprint or Cavendish sprint. She's of that caliber to me. It's great to watch.
What we always joke about in our team chat, because obviously, we're part of the kind of wider core group. We've got two teams. We've got core and core powered by Spritz. And we always joke in the team chat about how Dorency manages to look so calm and collected when she's sprinting, because she always has the camera on. And we send screenshots saying, Dorency, how do you keep this level of composure? She says it hurts inside.
Well, maybe it does, but there are 28 women in that sprint today for that finish line. And as you say, Sophie's comes through. That was just absolutely brilliant. Hannah Hakkinen snuck in there for second place. I'll tell you, I didn't see her on screen at all the entire race, but she was right where she needed to be at the finish line. It was brilliant from her as well.
Yeah, really good kick from Sopers. In terms of the KOM, Eleanor Wiseman, absolute superb riding from her today to take the clients full points, 10 points, taking that clear. Holly Bergen coming in second place, and Sylvia Gorrea coming in third. They basically repeated that on the climbs today. It was the same top three, a bit of a warning shot to her, and a certain Hayley Simmons in fifth place.
I didn't even know that. I hadn't seen that. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, Hayley, congratulations. you scored 2 points.
Yes.
On the climbs.
Wow, thank you. No, for me, it's always don't get dropped like you did on stage one last year. So just keeping my wheel in the right place and seeing what happens. So that's good.
It clearly worked. Let's move to category one. Our elite riders at the top of the standings, and let's go for that overall first of all. I'm going to put this out there now, and I did say this on air. Elise Gallegos is the rider who comes across the line when we're least expecting it, and it's hardest to call on commentary. I'm going to let you into the secret behind the scenes. We always worry about Elise Gallegos because she's the one that we always fight to try and spot coming through, and we often fail. I'm going to hold my hand up to that. That's me. She leaves it last minute. I thought for ages that Ashley Milman-Passio was going to have that, or Catherine Fua. They were my bets. As we came over towards the line, I thought this is going to be there. They're going to get this, and then at the last minute, in fact, the last fractions of a second, it changed.
She is joining us later this week, so you can apologise to her.
I have no problems with apologies at all in person for not spotting people, because it is, it's a bit like spinning plates on a stick whilst rubbing your tummy, patting your head, and talking with six voices through either ear. It has its moments, let's say, of trying to get that just right. But I think the sprint itself was incredible, but the race itself.
Oh, the race was just, literally it was like I think I said on air, I could join this category one pack on the transitions and I wouldn't find it difficult. They were literally like riding the transitions between the sprint and the climb segments really, really steadily. We're talking zone 2 for the Cat 1 pack. It really was a very steady race. Then they'd attack a climb, then they'd come back together. So much so that when the pack split early and we looked at it and went, oh, right, that's the first selection. It wasn't. It all came back together again. And then it split again. And then it all came back together again. It reconstituted itself regularly. So the point where 31 riders came in to that finishing line in the sprint, just 2 riders in the end dropped from the pack. And a number of riders that we'd seen go out the back got back on numerous times in that Category 1 race and finished with the pack in the sprint. You know, there were some fabulous rides out there from some of the riders who are new to Category 1.
Indeed, there was. I'm going to say no surprises in the sprint to see Kelsey J. Van Shaw absolutely dialing it in. I was surprised to see her not contesting the sprint as well as maybe she could, but that was kind of a bit like we saw when we've talked about Dorothy Gonzalez in Category 2. Mika Soderstrom battling with Van Shaw. I think that is going to go all the way to the last stage. I really do. In the sprints competition. In the climbs competition, well, McCarthy is setting out her stall at the top of the standings. 2 wins, 2 second places for Gabby Guerra, 2 third places for Francesca Tomasi. Maybe, you know, it's Alia Jecteres, the die is cast. They've crossed that Rubicon, and that is it. This is what we're going to see. I'm hoping we're going to see a change. You know, there's strong riders like Tristan Korchinski in there, Catherine Fua, Serena Vittori who can climb, you know, and Ashley Millman-Passio. You know, you don't get a pro career without on the road without being able to climb.
No, but it was so telling, wasn't it? Because Gabby Guerra went on that first climb and boom, the second she'd gone and tried to go out the pack, Kate McCarthy was on her wheel. It was just obvious that today's job was mark every move. And that's exactly what she did. And the pack stayed with them and they all stayed in the pack. And, you know, in the end, McCarthy came through for 7th place. But can I just say, Ashley Millman-Passio, fabulous to see her at the front of the peloton and in the top 3. She's been in the Sunday Race Club, but has never really, she's under top 10, but she's been learning, shall I say, her craft on MyWhoosh, I think, on the Sunday Race Club. And today she proved she's learned it. I am so looking forward to watching the rest of the week. And absolute credit to Elise Gallegos for that win. Absolutely brilliant timing.
It was brilliant to see. Now, one rider who I think we should pick on particularly for their performance is Katerina Karamani, a rider who's gone in and done an amazing job of joining and moving her way up. We've watched the progress on the Sunday Race Club. I think it's time for us to get Kat Karamani behind the bars. Well, it's great to be down here. We have had a chat with Emma and Hayley and myself. We've been behind the bars answering questions that have been posed to us by each other in some of our earlier shows. You can have a watch back or a listen back of those. There's shows 2, 3, and 4 for myself and Hayley and Emma, respectively. But behind the bars here on Inside the Race, it's a great pleasure to have somebody who saw me, and I kind of saw it last in Otley. Kat Karamani, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to speak to you today after stage 1.
We're going to dive straight in here because we've got so many things to ask you. This is your first MyWhoosh Championship in Category 1. And
yes,
you've taken that step up from the lower categories into the category with no limit, quite literally at the top. Did it go how you thought it was? Did it follow what you were expecting in Category 1, or was it different from when you've raced it previously?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Fundamentally, it did go how I was kind of hoping it would go. It was obviously very tough, as every Category 1, in fact, any category race on the MyWhoosh, whether it's a Sunday Race Club or the Championship Series is. But I was just really pleased to kind of make it round in the front group, as it were. I knew I was expecting the 2 QOM segments to be ridden super hard, and they absolutely were, and I was just really pleased to not have to kind of chase back on. I was a bit worried about potentially having to do that, so from that perspective it did go as I was expecting, and the goal was really just to kind of roll to the line with the front girls, which is never an easy task, but managed it, and from a general classification perspective it was exactly what I was hoping for. So So yeah, one down and 6 to go. Lots to think about for the upcoming stages, but definitely happy with today.
So obviously we raced together in a team last year, which was great. And it's great to now see you smashing it in category 1 and having the MyWhoosh Championships in category 1 this year. And, you know, we spoke a lot through the week last year about the upcoming stages, but looking at this year's championship, what are you most looking forward to this week?
Yeah, we absolutely did, and it was awesome racing with you last year. I'm most looking forward to the climbing stages and the rolling sort of punchy ones as well. I think they're what suit my strengths best as a rider, I guess, given my profile. But fundamentally, like first and foremost, I'm just super excited about having this, you know, opportunity to compete in a 7-day stage race. In cycling esports, a discipline that's up and coming and that I absolutely love, and I'm super excited to sort of, you know, be becoming at the forefront of, and I just can't wait to see like what I can do. I think it will be really awesome to see where the last couple of training blocks have taken me, and fundamentally like excited to just push myself. I find that the super inspiring and incredibly strong women that I have the opportunity to race against really bring out the best in me. You know, I set all my best numbers in these races, and I find myself finding an extra gear somehow. And so, yeah, that's fundamentally what I'm most excited for, just to kind of see what could happen, really.
It's a fabulous goal to have, isn't it? See what can happen, and to be inspired because of those women around you is even better. Now, one of the things we did see on air today was you removing your ice vest and throwing it on the floor behind you, Kat. How important was it for that cooling today? And I know the temperatures are rising in the UK during the championships, aren't they? So will it be important going forward?
Absolutely, yeah, well spotted. Yeah, absolutely. So cooling for me, especially in cycling esports, is absolutely massive. I find with every kind of degree that my core body temperature rises, my performance really suffers. And so I do everything I can to kind of keep the garage as cold as possible. My poor boyfriend stood there watching me sometimes with the blankets and jackets and hats and gloves, but I do whatever I can. But like you say, Emma, it is warming up here. So I'm you know, putting an ice vest on at the start. I find it's best for me to keep my, you know, rather than wait until I'm hot, you know, keep myself cool. And then once it's done its job and it's cooled down, I kind of find that it prevents the fans getting to my chest and my general like core. So I just tend to remove it, and I have like a bucket of ice cold water next to me and also some ice socks, and I shove them down my sports bra. I'll do whatever I can do just to keep myself as cold as possible. So yeah, that's it really.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because we'll be seeing bans soon on cycling esports for ice socks going down the back of the neck.
Yeah.
I'm only teasing.
I hope
I
not.
was going to say, because I've got the ice socks as well. So,
but
yeah.
they banned it in the UCI have banned them, haven't they? I think I saw the other day.
Yeah.
I think
you've got to keep cool somehow, I tell you.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure how long that'll last on the basis that you've got all these riders racing and riding, not just indoors or outdoors, in very changeable temperatures. And we've got people around the globe. So whilst you're there keeping cool, there's, you know, it's kind of the reverse of what you had in the winter when you were racing in the cold and and you're having to heat up. Can I ask, you've moved through the race categories and you've moved your way up. We've seen you progressing up. When you first jumped onto MyWhoosh and you were first racing, did you have an ambition to be category 1 and racing category 1 at the MyWhoosh Championships?
That's also a great question. I mean, like, absolutely. When I first started racing on MyWhoosh, that was about a year and a half ago now, and that was in category 2. And I remember finding it, you know, really difficult. I wasn't even coached really at that point, and I was just kind of I just loved the concept of it, and I thought it really suited me. And I just thought how incredible that like there's this opportunity in a sport to be able to line up week in, week out against, you know, people globally. Like which other discipline or sport, you know, can offer that? I can't think of one. So I was just super buzzed by that, and then really started enjoying it and found myself improving, and then, you know, started getting coached by Jason, which is such a privilege, and I found myself really improving. And absolutely the goal was actually one of my goals for this year was to kind of get into kind of kind of promoted, as it were, to category 1 and then start to become competitive. So when that happened, I was absolutely delighted. And for me, I love, you know, wearing that that kind of iconic yellow jersey in game, and just having the opportunity to race against the best in the world. I know I keep mentioning it, but it's such a huge thing for me, and I feel really, really privileged.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm so looking forward to watching you race for the rest of the championships. Good luck, Kat, from all of us. There will be no bias on commentary, I guarantee, but we'll be willing you all of the way to the finish line.
Thank you very much. It's been so lovely to talk to you all.
Thank you for being here. I'm going to ask a sneaky question on the end, and I don't expect you necessarily to answer this. What counts as a good championship for you? What's your target?
Great question. I'd like to, as a team, to perform really well. I'm in with the Watt sisters, with Rachel Brown, Kelsey, Jade Van Short, and Amelia Van Hoven. They are super strong ladies, and I'd love to try and give a performance that kind of does them proud. If I can, you know, like a big part of this whole racing experience for me, actually, and one thing that I've tried to start doing, like not just in the championships but in the Sunday race clubs, is like kind of, I know it sounds really like counterintuitive, but like forgetting about the outcome and just focusing on the moment. Like in the moment, it's really hard for me when I'm like in such a box and my heart rate is at max and I'm starting to see myself distance or whatever, to kind of keep the pressure on the pedals and like not spiral out of control. So one of my, like, what will be a success for me is if I like continue to improve my ability to like stay calm in the moment and just think anything can happen, and does. And it's really helping me because I find myself in those moments now just being like 10 more seconds, 20 more seconds, just keep on. And then I find myself back in the group, and like I'm really proud of that. So that will be a success for me. If there are moments where I feel like, oh, I just can't anymore, but I choose to dig deep even for another minute or so, like that for me is huge, and I think will help me become a more complete rider longer term. So yeah, that's it really.
Cool. Thanks for answering the sneaky question on the end. We are going to be moving on. Thank you very much, Kat. Time to let you get your recovery done and get yourself ready for stage 2. And good luck from all of us and everybody watching, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kat. See you soon.
Oh, thanks so much.
See you soon.
Oh, you made me cry then.
Oh, Emma, you're so sweet.
That was such a lovely answer. I mean, honestly, it was like one of those answers you just dream of hearing. It really was. Thank you so much.
You're so kind, and it's true. Thank you.
That was awesome to hear from Kat there. And I think if Emma has got over some of the honesty in those answers, which is lovely to hear, I think the one thing I took from that is that Kat Karamani is actually at the point she is, that elite athlete, where she's thinking about process and not about results. And it's a bit of a trick question, really, I gave her there, because if she'd have said a number to me, I was going to think, well, you've a little, because of all the best are there. They're not thinking numbers, they're thinking process, aren't they, Hayley?
Yeah, it's really difficult. And I can, like what she said really resonates with me because, you know, I've had these moments in Sunday Race Club where you can see the group stretching and the gaps opening, and you just think, you know, 100 meters more, 200 meters more. Where's the top of this climb coming? And it's, and if you can, you know, find peace in yourself with just being able to push yourself and just get the most out of yourself, then you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Should we run through the men's results and let's see where we're at in terms of the end of stage number 1. Okay, category 6 first of all. Wojciech Scierski coming through, taking third. Adrian Gosler appearing like out of nowhere to take second place. Brilliant ride by him. A certain locomotive driver put a train through the middle of everybody, didn't he? Dylan Kennett taking away the win. Emma, I hate to say this, but you did say that would off air privately to me in the commentary box. Dylan Kennett is going to win stage 1, and I just went, No, he's not.
You didn't believe me at all, did you?
Sorry, Dylan.
Can I just say,
I've said a lot of apologies already.
John Back and Dylan Kenner went away from the group, and I had a little chat with Dylan since, and apparently it was quite an innocuous. It wasn't a deliberate move. It wasn't a big effort. It was just a ride away at a point where the group really didn't want to chase, and they got quite a good gap. The group did pull them back. Well, they pulled John back into the group.
Yeah.
He ended up finishing 25th on the stage, but Dylan Kenner stayed out front, and I'll tell you something, we saw how hard he worked. That last 2 kilometres, he thought he was done for, but he wasn't.
No.
Yeah, the insider info that I had as well was Dylan was almost surprised that he was allowed to go, but he was, and he took advantage of it, which is racing instinct.
I think it's a chance missed for some of the sprinters to take away a win on stage one. That would be not be good news. Ola Warren, for example, who did take away the sprint win overall, will be, I think, kicking himself a little bit, although he wasn't in there in the end in the sprints, and that was very telling. Another case of sprinters not being able to contest the result. He's ahead of Dylan Kennett in the standings. The mountains competition, I think it's a just reward for John Back.
Yes, I agree.
Taking away the 14 points there. He's got a good lead there, 14 points. The 2 riders behind, Evanoff and Kvistrom, who are both on 8. But no taking away from Dylan Kennett from that win. You know, he is class is class.
Yeah, he's got to come out and defend it now tomorrow.
Yes. So no pressure on him.
None whatsoever. We will just enjoy watching the action.
Lots of pressure on Dylan. That's my view. You know, if you can do it once, if you can get the train there on time once, mate, you can do it again. Get to the station on time. Get it done.
Can I just say, the Category 6 men's race, I do not know what planet they were on coming out of that start pen today. I mean, let's just put this into context. We had a whole host of brand new riders to MyWhoosh Premier Racing today in Category 6. It was the largest race. You know, what did we have? We had 144 riders on the start sheets today in Category 6. We had riders who had never raced the Sunday Race Club. This was their first Premier race experience on MyWhoosh. And the Category 6 regulars went, right, come on then, let's show you how it's done. And off they went. The first 4.6 kilometres were nearly twice as fast as the Cat 1 first 4.6 kilometres. It was so fast. I just feel my little heart felt for those new riders to MyWhoosh Premier events. It's not like this always, everybody.
But are you
settle down?
Are you really surprised though? Because the category 6 men's race last Sunday went off like I don't know what. So
it's like a rocket.
Yeah.
It's a massive race field. I mean, what was it? 144 riders on those lists, and you just think there's always going to be somebody prepared to have a go. And I think that's one of the things. If you've got 144 minutes of racing and you've got 70 odd riders. That means that, you're probably going to let's say you get one a minute, you've still got 70 odd minutes of rest. Here, you've 140 odd riders. There's not a minute of rest coming in this. It's just not going to happen. I mean, it is absolutely crazy. I love it, but it is, I tell you something, I'm glad I'm not in that race field because that is going to be so hard.
Well, to anybody who is, I'm just going to put the big caveat. Don't panic.
No.
There are 6 more days.
Yeah.
There is. And just getting to the end of this race, just getting to the end of a stage is an achievement. Never mind getting to the end of the race. Digging deep there. There is a big community out there, really supportive. So we always love to hear how you're going as well. So don't forget, get in touch with Emma at biking_Emma, with myself at Matt Fitzpain. We will do our best to highlight you on the show, and we will pass all relevant information on to Hayley so that when she's finished racing, she can then digest it rather than trying to absorb it while she's on the bike. Let's move to
to be fair, I love watching the men's action when I'm recovering. So I try and catch up with what's going on.
I'm going to say it's another of our favourites right up there overall. Let's not take anything from our race winner.
Brilliant.
Yeah, Lucas Pedder. Brilliant ride by him. Absolutely stunning. He held off the bunch. I mean, a really, really strong. 9 seconds ahead of Maris Fossier. Brilliant. brilliant sprint by him to come out, and we saw him on camera giving it absolutely everything to take that sprint from the bunch ahead of Brendan Thornton and Jasper Herring. Really pleased for Fossier to be up there, but Lucas Pedder, wish you were here. They all wish they were on the top spot.
Well, they were, weren't they? Can I just put a call out for Jasper Herring, a young rider in category 5. So coming into the mix, new rider to Premier Racing, great finish.
Yeah, definitely. Sprint competition. I was a little shocked, and I don't quite know why, but Luke Kendall took the win from Roman Mazzaros and Joel Warren, and then Christoph Lasno. And I would have pegged Warren and Lasno as better sprinters than Luke. But then when I think back about it, it's the wrong impression I've got of Luke, because I think of Luke as more of an all-round rider rather than a pure sprinter. But he isn't. He might be an all-round rider, but he's got a great kick. I think actually Luke could be holding on to that for a long time, but it's close at the moment. Let's go to the climbs, and I've been waiting for this one because we have Daniel Thiem in second with 9 points, the nearest rider to Nicholas Spratt in category 5 on the mountain competition. Nicholas Spratt is incredible how he masterminds his rides.
Yeah, I love you referring to him on the commentary as the mathematician as well. Like that was yeah, but it's a real skill actually being able to kind of sit and mentally calculate points and things like that as you go through the week whilst you're on the bike and suffering and everything else. But I just thought there was some really impressive riding in category 5 throughout the day today, so it was just great to watch.
And I'm going to throw out there the quote from the podcast that I threw out earlier on, which is you have to ride a stage race with your calculator in the back pocket. I think it sums it up so well. It's about energy, but it's also about where you go for points. Category 4 was an interesting race. Overall, Neil Ungerer held off the bunch. And I said this at the end of the show, and I'm going to say this again. The gap does not reflect how much work he did and how amazing that result is, because Clinton Cirillo is behind him by 0.6, by 5 something or other, 0.55 of a second, half a second behind him. But Neil Ungerer had eased back a little bit, I think, on the run into the line. They were coming at speed, but he had a gap and he held it. Neil Ungerer, Cycling District 4A squad, chapeau for holding them off, because Clinton Cirillo was coming. It was like he had nitrox, sort of, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Honestly, he was. I'm not sure what he had in the text, but he was absolutely on fire to come in second. Were you impressed with Neil's ride? I was very impressed by that.
Is that to me or Emma? I'm not sure, but yes, I was watching
Emma,
it.
are you with us?
Also Emma.
I'm good.
still...
I'm quite happily listening to Hayley though, so don't worry about it.
No, it's all that caffeine gels, storming in towards the finish, correctly timed caffeine dose. But yeah, to be honest, there was just some fierce racing throughout the men's races today. Which you expect on stage 1 of a stage race, but because everybody wants those jerseys, like I was saying earlier. But the aggression that, in a good way, that we saw in some of the races was just really fun to watch. It made for some really exciting, not just finishes, but exciting, sprint banners and climbs as well.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I just think it also tells you how close the racing was by the team competitions. We talked about how close it was in the women's, with the biggest time gap in the women's racing being 2.5 seconds. In the men's racing in category 3, it was 3.5 seconds. In category 4, the smallest time gap of the day between the top 2 teams, 1.9 seconds.
Ooh.
It just shows you how close it is out there and how that team competition is going to be so competitive because of the nature of this racing.
Let's move into the sprint in category 4 and also into the climbs competition, because it's basically copy and paste at the top of the tables. Aidan Sinclair, we've seen him on Sunday Race Clubs riding really strongly. what I want to see is Aidan Sinclair progressing until he's in races like Category 1 race and take this tactic to Category 1, because it would shake Category 1 up, because he just goes for it, goes off the front. I'm not sure it's a great tactic, but I'd love to see him try it.
Yeah,
it
successful,
works for him in Category 4.
You know.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a choice to make at some point. Go for the sprints. He's 2 points clear in the sprints competition, and he is 7 points clear in the climbs competition. I think he's got a choice to make. Let's move to Category 3.
I was going to say he's also got a choice to make, because he's currently 1.2 seconds back in the young riders competition. He's currently in second place behind Baptiste Dabez from the Ratio Racing Push squad. So he has got some choices to make about where his targets are.
Category 3, top spot in the race, going to Carlos Manarelli. Lone breakaway. If Carlos can do it, anyone can do it. Surely Carlos was absolutely flying here. I thought, when we saw him come through, I thought that would be the last solo winner. But, oh, no, I was so wrong, because he really showed how it was done. David Watts behind did a great ride, holding off the challenge behind from Zach Patterson. Let's go into the sprints. Mason Rocker, big sprinter. Big sprint result, 16 points to 14 to Corrales. And then Manarelli, because of that long breakaway, hoovering up points as well, coming in third. The KOM, the mountains competition, Ergatan Adar ahead of David Watts, and then Carlos Manarelli. I could see Ergatan Adar actually taking this to the line, to the finish. I think I think that could happen here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it's a long way to go. It's early for predictions.
Yeah, it is. But, we love a bold prediction. So well, let's see. 6 days left.
Hey, we aren't recording this or anything, are we? Oh, yeah, no. We are. Right. Let's go across to Category 2, our penultimate race category. Always a battle. I'm not sure I should talk about this one, because maybe I influenced the result overall here after what I said on the show. I threw the challenge down to Josiah Betty that today we want a win. He did a win.
I didn't agree the challenge either, when, there was a beautiful big screen of 13 riders in the Cat 2 race, all happily about 2K out of the start. And Matt just goes bang in there and says, Josiah Betty, would you like to win today, please?
Yeah, I did everybody else and left Josiah to the end, because I knew that was what I was going to throw at him. I'm sick of him letting me down, because I keep tipping him for the top, and he's done it this time round now. So he's proved me that all those tips were right. Thank you, mate. So
I want to know
well
how
done,
cold
buddy.
I want to know how cold it is in Josiah Betty's pain cave as well, because he was wearing long sleeves today.
I can tell you, because Shannon Martinuska, one of the female riders from southern Brazil, messaged me this morning to tell me it was 5 degrees where she was. And she too had a jacket on to start with, and it stayed on for quite some time. So actually, quite chilly is the answer.
Plumbing cold.
Cool. Well, I did wonder, so I'm glad I've had the answer to that. Thank you.
Okay. Worryingly for many people, I suspect, because you never like to see a defending champion on form when you're coming into one of these things. Defending champion, Mr. Ace100, was looking good today. I thought he rode, for him, a quite measured race.
Yes.
Today.
As you said on commentary as well, today wasn't necessarily the day on paper that suits him. So it is worrying for everyone else that, he's already up there.
Come the big climbs, come the time trial efforts, that's when we're going to see that's his terrain. Let's move on.
Before you go, I am going to say there is a big stack of young riders in the top 10 in Category 2 in the under-23 competition. Rodrigo Coimbra is currently leading that competition, half a second ahead of Pardon Cooper in second place, and 0.6 of a second ahead of Josh Power as well. So those 3 riders all having fabulous races today, finishing in 4th, 6th and 7th on GC. So the under-23 competition is hot in Category 2.
It certainly is. Let's talk about the sprints. Jesse Langevin, no surprises there. Probably the most predictable of our sprint winners so far. We know Jesse Langevin's got a phenomenal kick on him, and his timing is great. I was just surprised he wasn't up there in the end of the race, but it showed it wasn't that kind of race. I was thinking bunch sprints or group sprints. and it wasn't. Individuals were coming in at the finish. Langevin taking away 17 points in the sprints today. I mean, that's a phenomenal result ahead of Mare. KOM's Mountains, defending champion Karkayan. He's up there, top of the tree. SS, second place. I think once we go on to the climbs, he's going to be challenging. I think that's going to be where we're going to see that. Let's move to Category 1, though, because Category 1, if a race was to go to form, and I just showed you the results table, you'd kind of go, well, that's what we expected, Jason Osborne from Ollie Jones. Niall Pedersen is no real surprise to be there in third place. But then if we had said to you that Osborne's gap at the end was 13 seconds, not 1 minute, 13 seconds, I think that'd be more of a surprise.
But it's stage 1 on a course where maybe you didn't expect Jason to come out firing, on all cylinders. Because Jason knows that the stages later in the week are opportunities for big time gaps. But I feel like he laid a marker down today, which was just really fun to watch. But can I just say how exciting that sprint for third place was? Because obviously Jason had his gap, then Ollie Jones had a bit of a gap, having been with Jason, earlier on until that last climb, I think it was. But then, Ruben Donk came through with such speed that I thought he was going to take it. And then Pedersen came through and I was trying to work out what was going on and listening to you two trying to call it. And it was really it was a phenomenal sprint at the end.
Yeah, Don ended up in 11th place. I don't know how I can believe that. I can't honestly, because it was just phenomenal, the pace they were coming at. And what I loved, Neil Fryer had a cracking race today. I loved that because, he got into the World Championships. He was like the last rider in the men's competition to make the World Championships last year. But when he got there on that stage in Abu Dhabi, it wasn't like, I've just managed to get here, I'll just ride round. It was, I'm here. I don't care how I qualified. I've qualified and I deserve to be here. Boom. And he let everybody know he was there. He's done the same today. He hasn't ridden the Sunday Race Club recently. We've not seen him on MyWhoosh for some time. He's come back on for the MyWhoosh Championships and he's gone, hello, everybody. I'm here.
Back. Yeah.
It is brilliant. I love it. I really like his style of racing.
Really, really interesting. I agree that sprint was amazing. Let's do the climbs because King of the Mountains, Jason Osborne, again, no surprises there, but again, how he was pushed. Ruben Don in second place there on the climbs competition. That's not something you'd normally expect. Don is more well known as being the person with the most sprint wins on a Sunday Race Club than he is of being a climber, but he's a great all-round rider, ahead of Lyndon Milostic and Ollie Jones. The climbs competition, I think, will be close in second, third, fourth, and fifth. I struggle to see past Jason being in the wins in that one. So fairly clear cut. I think there'll be more talking on that later on in the week. Sprint competition.
Yes.
Really interesting sprint competition because it kind of gets bypassed in the Jason Osborne show regularly on the Sunday Race Club that the sprints are happening because it is first through the line. And because of that, if Jason is on a breakaway mission, what's happening behind is not maybe the focus of our attention as much as it should be. Today, forget that. Just rip it up, throw it over your shoulder. That script's gone because we saw a fantastic battle. This is how close it is. Fifth place is Ruben Don in the competition with 9 points. Fourth place is Ollie Jones with 9 points. Only 1 point ahead of them in third is Jason Osborne with 10. 1 point ahead of him with 11 is Jasper Paradiens. In fact, it's only till you get second to first that you see the gap, and that's between Paradiens and Pawel Scierski of the final bosses. Scierski today, he has put himself into that leader's jersey, and I think that's dangerous for everybody else.
Pawel Scierski in a sprinter's jersey? Yes, that is dangerous, isn't it?
It is on stage one because I wouldn't want to go up against him in terms of taking it back off him. I don't know about you.
Well, don't ask the non-sprinter in the group because hang on.
Yeah, let's ask the only, the diesel engine over there.
Yeah, I tell you what. Why don't we ask the man himself? Why don't we ask Pawel Scierski? Pawel Scierski, welcome to Inside the Race. Welcome behind the bars. And what a fabulous race today. Top of the tree in the sprint competition. Is that the start you expected?
Hello, first of all. Thank you for the kind introduction. Today was a really great day for me and for my team. I'm really proud of myself and of the guys. But I know the harder stage are yet to come, so I didn't want to throw everything today. I think I played it smart and get the sprint jersey as well, so it's a nice top of the cherry of the tart. Is it said?
Cherry on the cake.
Cherry on the cake. And today was a really, really great introduction to the week of racing, I would say.
It was
It was fabulous. It was fabulous to watch, just, as somebody who was, sat with their feet up watching the action. But you mentioned teamwork just in your answer there, and obviously your team must be targeting the Team GC. So how important is the teamwork through the stages this week?
That's a tough one, to be honest. I think that the team tactics, it's not as important as it should be on MyWhoosh, especially during finals. But during normal races, I think that the bound that we get, it should gives us like a more, we don't chase each other and we support each other. Right now, it's much more about, we have a group and we support each other, of course. But during Tour de France, I don't see that today breakaway would be accomplished. I think that, I don't know, UAE or someone get to the front and close it down immediately, especially that, here on MyWhoosh, we are racing. The team competition is one of the most important thing, and the time gaps that today created, it should be already closed down by another guys. So yes, I think that the team tactics, especially during championships, should be on a high level, and I hope that it will, because it make the racing more engaging and much more fun. Today we were on a Discord chat. We was talking during the race, and I must say that I really like this idea. I've tried it a few times before with another squad, and it makes the race. I enjoyed the races much more, even though beforehand I enjoyed it really high. That's my comment to that. The time is really flying by. I right now, even though I finished the stage an hour or 2 hours before, I could sit on my bike and ride again and again with boys. So with the boys. So yeah, it's much more enjoyable when you hear another guys, and we had, okay, it's 2K to go, let's go attack. Or we can do a lead out for Jason for his KOM jersey, even though he doesn't need that, of course. But now we are trying to support him, as well as Hayden supports me in the sprint competition. So yeah, it's really fun. It's getting much more. I enjoy this much more with that teamwork than when I, go alone and just race for myself, which is always very pleasant for me. But I enjoy it much more with the guys on the voice chat.
I think it makes a big difference when you can hear people. I'm just going to go back to that point you make about making the teams more important. Could you see a day where maybe we change from teams where in maybe category 1, instead of it being 5 riders in a team, you maybe have 7 or 8 or 9 riders in a team, so that there's more strength to bring back the Jason Osbornes of this world? I mean, it's not in your advantage this time round, but maybe next time you won't be on the, you be a team who has to chase. Can you see a day where that would be a good thing or a bad thing on MyWhoosh to have bigger teams maybe in category 1?
I think that with the number of people that race these days, it's useless. But if the races goes to the World Tour level, I mean the number of the races, like 100, 150, let's say, that would make sense. But right now, if there is, I don't know, 30 people on the Sunday Race Club in the category 1. If we have 9 people in the team, it would be 3 teams. So yeah, it's for sure the gap to Jason would be much smaller. I don't know if it can be closed, but it would be smaller. But yeah, it's good how it is, I think, right now.
And in terms of the team, I'm going to go back to sort of you personally here, where in the team competition, when you've got Jason in the overall, you said you're there saying, we're going to lead him out with 2K to go, we're going to go and do this as a team. How much does that impact you for the under-23 competition, rather than, say, maybe being in the general classification? Is there a conflict between being an under-23 competitor and racing for the team?
No, I wouldn't say so. Maybe today was a different story because we let Ollie Jones go with Jason, and he's of course one of the competitors in the GC for me. But yeah, I know when the harder stage. When there will be harder stage, I will be in the mix, and then we can fight side by side with Ollie. I'm looking forward for that. Yeah, I think that I try to see what is happening, and if someone from under 23 is going, I try to follow. I have a close look for that. But yeah, the most important thing for me is to have that feeling that I've left 100% of myself, rather than chase something or something, to chase something or today was a good day because Jason went with Ollie and we get a gap in terms of teams. So of course I wouldn't chase, but if I were on another team, for sure I would do everything to be there to close it. But yeah, today it was my favor.
Yeah, it's nice that it took the pressure off you a little bit today, and then you can conserve a little bit of energy for later in the week, where, as you say, you'll hopefully be at the front of the race on some of these longer climbs, and then that's where you'll be able to also make a difference for your own GC and for that under 23 competition as well.
Yeah. But also I think that having Jason with in a team is also very, very good for us. We know that he's level beyond everyone, so it's a privilege that I don't have to do much work because it's in my favor that he's making that gaps. So yeah, I feel that that I don't have to put so much work into the peloton, and I can do what I do the best. So sprint and wait for the harder stage.
Which is a lovely place to be.
Yeah, it's like it's like
Well,
having Tadej Pogačar in the team, and you can just fit in.
Are you Del Toro or are you one of the others? Who would you be?
Yeah, I like the style of these two guys, but I think that I'm I'm not as strong as them for sure on the climbs, but I think that I am getting much more like a punchy one towards like Mathieu. Of course, not at the same level. He's beyond everyone, but I'm getting like his characteristic.
Well, the team has 12 seconds, so on stage one, so a nice place to be.
Yeah.
A great place to be. Thank you very much, Pawel. I am going to ask my traditional cheeky question on the end of the interview. My cheeky question is going to be, you've said that you're maybe more like Mathieu Van Der Poel than Del Toro or Pogačar. If Tadej doesn't win the Tour de France out there, it would be quite a surprise. Do you think it's more likely for you to be Jason Osborne type style Tadej Pogačar in the future, or in the future are you going to be more of a Mathieu Van Der Poel who can take one-day classics and put in a great time trial maybe, but not be an overall contender? Which one are you going to be in the future, do you think?
I want to be a better cyclist, first of all. But
good answer.
I want to be much more all-rounder than be focused on one type of course. I want to be good in the climbs as well as the sprints or a shorter climb. That's my goal, which I always chased. If you are a good climber, then half of the races are not for you, or you are just waiting for the mountains, and that's not what I want. I want to race hard on every stage, on every climb, whenever it's 1 minute or 10 minutes or half an hour. I want to be there. So I try to be all-rounder guy on MyWhoosh, and I think that it goes well, and I'm really happy where I am right now. Maybe the weight after 10-day all-inclusive vacation is not the smartest idea before championships, but it was an amazing journey, and I'm happy I went there, even though I'm that kilo or two heavier. It's a few percentage of the performance, and on the other hand, you have a journey to that you never forget. So
yeah,
I take that.
The memories are there forever from your trip to China and racing there. And I did see a really interesting video from GCM, which basically said, if you could choose 1 kilo lighter or 5 watts on your FTP, which would you choose? Everybody chose being a kilo lighter, but 5 watts are more important on your FTP when it comes to performance. So it really does show that actually weight isn't as critical as we think. And I think if you're happy, you're always quick. We do say happy roads, fast road. It's been great to have you here, Pawel, with us on the show here on Inside the Race. Thank you very much for joining us. Good luck for the rest of the race. I hope you do manage the 30-minute, 10-minute and 1-minute climbs quite easily, but I'm sure it's not going to be easy out there in any of our race categories, and definitely not in category 1. So good luck for the rest of the racing from me, and I'm sure from Emma and Hayley. So thank you very much for being with us here behind the bars on the Stage 1 show of Inside the Race.
I also would like to thank you for your job, for 10-hour shift of commentary. You are doing a great job for the community of esport, and I hope you will push it even further. And I would like to say good luck to everyone racing on the championships. We everyone feels the same. In Cat 1, we just push higher watts, but yeah, all of the categories feel the same pain, just on a different level. But yeah, we all feel the same.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pawel. Really lovely to talk to you.
Thanks, Pawel.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon. We'll see you tomorrow on that start line.
Yeah, I'm looking forward that. I can't wait. I don't know. I should skip the time just to get to the start block.
No, take the rest. Take the
I was going to
rest.
say I need a bit longer, so just yeah.
yeah. Don't skip the time for Hayley, but or me or Emma actually, to be honest. But yeah, definitely. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
It's good to see you here.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Well, absolutely fabulous to hear from Pawel Scierski alongside Kat Karamani, our two guests for stage 1. It's stage 2 tomorrow, Hayley. What course preview do we have?
So tomorrow it is California Dreaming once again. It feels like no time at all since we were last in California for the Sunday Race Club. But tomorrow we are in California for stage 2 of the MyWhoosh Championships. It's 53.2 kilometers long, 632 meters of climbing. Along the way, there are 3 intermediate sprints, but those sprints come after the first Queen of the Mountains climb and before the longer Queen of the Mountains climb. And that's really the kind of dominating feature of tomorrow's route. There's a long climb. It's the country climb. It's 6.1 kilometers long, average 5.2%. And the summit of that climb is only, about 10 kilometers before the finish. So I think that's where we could see a little bit of a shake-up happening. For the men, actually, it's exactly the same route. No difference for the women and the men tomorrow. So 53.2 kilometers, 632 meters of climbing, 3 sprints, 2 classified climbs. But it's not going to be as simple as that, I don't think.
No, and the same course on the women's and men's race, I think, is really interesting. I can't wait to see how people race this in the women's race and the men's race and how different they are. I think it's to be telling. I don't know about you, Emma, but I'm kind of really excited by the fact we've got this same course and the how it plays out. I'm almost kind of want it to be a bit like Pawel. I want it to be tomorrow already.
It's the only time in the championships that the men and women race on the same course on the same day. They race in the same world like they did today, but not exactly the same course. Tomorrow it is exactly the same course, exactly the same climbs, exactly the same pattern. And tomorrow is the first time we see a higher categorized climb. Let's just make that point as well, because the final climb, the main climb of tomorrow, is worth 8 points at the top, not 5. So there are additional points on offer tomorrow for the first time in that climbing competition. But it is going to be absolutely brilliant with the men and the women on identical courses.
Brilliant. Hayley, how do you feel about tomorrow? I'm going to ask you this now. After today's race, which you did absolutely amazing in, how are you feeling about tomorrow, particularly when you look at the course as a racer rather than as a commentator?
I'm looking forward to it because there is that long climb at the finish or towards the finish, but it's the kind of course that also makes me nervous because you never know how the race is going to be taken on in the early stages. You can say, I think the sprinters will all want the race to stay together until that final climb because there'll be those sprint points on offer, but there are difficulties within the first 40 kilometers of the race. And it's the kind of course where you can't switch off, because if you switch off, you're going to be on a back foot, and that's never a good place to be.
Well, please don't switch off from the show because inside the race, it has been absolutely fabulous on day one of the MyWhoosh Championships. We've been here and we will be with you throughout the next 6 stages as well. Myself, Emma Martin, Matt Payne and Hayley Simmons, all 3 of us. And as you noticed, we had Kat Karamani and Pawel Scierski with us today. We have guests every single day throughout the championships, and we are really looking forward to talking to each and every one of them.
Don't forget to follow at MyWhoosh and at MyWhoosh Info on social media. Without them, we couldn't do our job and you wouldn't be watching any racing or racing on any racing either. So please do make sure you give them a follow. Download the app and get racing at mywhoosh.com. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify or Apple Podcasts too. Inside the race, it's really easy. It is at MyWhoosh Racing. That's where we'd love you to be on social media as well. And don't forget, give us a like, a thumbs up, get engaged with us. We want to chat to you. We want to hear from you as well. And if you don't want to talk to us, well, we kind of get that. You hear us all the time. You can support us by sharing the show and telling your friends. We're going to get as many links as I can type into the show notes before we get this show out and live. So if you have missed any of the details, then don't forget, we'll be having those in there as well.
So in our next show 2, stage 2 of the MyWhoosh Championships will be complete. It's coming at you really thick and fast. We're going to be following the racing every single day throughout the 7 days of the MyWhoosh Championships. And tomorrow we're going to be breaking down who we think's targeting the different competitions, the sprints competition, the climbers competition, and also seeing where we stand in the GC. But for all of the racers who've raced stage 1 today and are preparing for that stage 2 tomorrow, get your feet up, get your recovery in, and we can't wait to see you in the start pen.
Goodbye.